Kia ora team, George here from Touch NZ. Now we all enjoy a bit of touch, but without a proper warm-up, the chances of being injured are massively increased. So to keep you on the field and out of the emergency room, Touch NZ have made a short and easy warm-up series for all levels, proven to lower the chance of injury by close to 50%. So head on over to our site and check them out. Play safe, play smart.
Well done team, keep it going. Keep it going. Good work. Yes, good side step. Excellent. Working forward. Well done. Well done team, good. For Bunnings homegrown heroes, but mahi never stops. Thanks mate. Okay team, come on in, let's go. Let's huddle up. Bring it in guys. Nominate your homegrown hero today. 1, 2, 3, 3.
This Touch New Zealand event is proudly supported by Bunnings Warehouse.
Morena koutou katoa, e te whānau whānui. Welcome back to the big day, the first day of our finals, day 3 of our 2023 Bunnings Warehouse National Touch Championships down here at Ongley Park in Palmerston North. Now I said this is the start of our finals day and we have got 7 back-to-back games on the live stream, but there's a little bit of a difference to this first one that we see here this morning, whānau. Joining me in the commentary box, 2 legends. One, because he's been part of everything in the touch area. Some might say, I didn't think Rod refed, but every game I refed, he definitely helped me out. And I have the amazing Rod Walker, stalwart of Auckland Touch, as well as being involved down in Whakatane. And we have the ex-boss, Joe's ex-boss, the man from down the south, Steve. Great to have you 2 lads on here. Good morning there, Rod.
Kia ora te whānau, thanks for that wonderful introduction there, Maya. Yeah, as you say, we're at the pointy end of the tournament, finals day. Once again, Palmerston North has turned on an awesome day for us here, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys hold up. It's been a long tournament for them, so looking forward to it.
And our ex-chairman of Touch New Zealand, and just before I get you to introduce yourself and let us know about this format, Steve, just on behalf of the people who are playing touch now, we're seeing the fruits, and I got to feel the fruits when you were on the board and all the decisions that you made, and this sport is amazing, and Rod and myself have talked as much over the last 2 days around just the aspects of our sport that are amazing, and I just can't thank you and the teams that you belonged with on the board for the work that you've done, and it's great to have you here with us today.
Thanks guys, I really appreciate being here with 2 legends, to be frank, so thank you for the opportunity.
Now, you talked to me earlier before we come on live here, Steve, around the format of this 60s grade that we see here between North Harbour and Canterbury. Can you give us a bit of detail about what the structure of the 60s men's grade has been down here at this tournament?
Yeah, sure, Mike. One of the things that's been interesting, most of these guys that are playing here today have sort of come through the grades from 50s to 55s, and now they're moving into the 60s. And so from that point of view, it's always been difficult being innovators in terms of new grades and all that. Today what we're doing is there's only 2 teams involved, but we're playing a 6-match series. First 4 games are worth 1 point each, and at the moment North Harbour's 4 points up. And then today's game's worth 2 points. If Canterbury can win that today, we go into a 6th game which is worth 3 points. So the game, the whole grade's still open in terms of these 2 guys.
You heard it there, whānau. So this could be the final. It may not be the final, as one of our teams have already got a 4-point lead going into this game, but the winner gets 2 points. So if our other group get their win today, will be 4-2, and they'll need 1 more game to decide who is the best men's 60s team in the nation. As we see here on our screen, we've got Canterbury men's 60s starting us off. Just looking at our referees there, it's got Dave Pilkington, but I don't think Dave Pilkington is out there unless he's got a costume on. We can see there on the screen Kitty Martin, a legend of touch in the referee community, done so many years, and I'm not sure how she still looks so young. She's got Te Aroha with her on the far side and on our close side. Vanessa Forrester, stalwart of Canterbury Touch. So looking forward to a good game here, Rod.
Oh, absolutely, and at the centre screen there, I see John Scully, associated with him a long time back when I was in the Bay. But we're looking forward to big things from John. He'll be a major controller, I think, in terms of Canterbury.
Looking at the start we have, not the electric start we're used to, but I can see a whole bunch of wisdom floating around here as we see a 32 peel. Ball timing not quite there this early in the game. As we see the number 1, Mikey Savage. If you don't know Mikey, you've probably never watched touch before. He's been around longer than the sport, carving it up. Steve, you've had a lot to do with a lot of these guys from both North Harbour and Canterbury, even though you are a Canterbury lad yourself.
Yes, I have, and I think the key players for North Harbour at the moment are going to be number 1, Keith O'Halloran, commonly called Irish, and I think Chris Handel have a lot to do in terms of number 4 as well. For Canterbury, I suspect the 2 big players there are going to be obviously the 2 you've already identified, Robbie Logan and John Scully.
Rod, the game probably won't be as dynamic as one of the Open Men's games might be. What style of games do we normally find at the 60s? Yeah,
or maybe not as dynamic, but certainly just as competitive. That's the wonderful thing about our game is that at this age people are still able to compete. The mind is willing. The body struggles a little bit, but they're still very, very competitive at this. But they'll go about their work and just stay about the finer details. We always talk about the fundamentals, right? So it'll be. We nearly got away with that one. As I was just talking about the competitive nature of this grade, and we can see there is some heat in a lot of these touches, Steve.
Oh, certainly. There's no love lost between these 2 teams, even though they know each other well.
As we see the North Harbour over 60s men's working their way forward. We've got Merv Beattie, gas on the outside. Looks back at me and thinks, what do you call this? Not dynamic, Maya? Check that. Step out off the left, round the outside. Love the mo. That's what I'm definitely liking. And we've got North Harbour number 10 setting up in the middle. Graham Watts. Out to the left. Nice draw and pass. In for the first try, is it? As we look to the sideline, ref. Doesn't like that. Kitty Martin awards our first touchdown. Fortunately there, number 15, Frank Latour. As we see, nice pick up, nearly the fumble. Just a nice right to left. Draw and pass, drawing in the last defender. And Frank goes down and gets a knee in the ribs for his trouble.
Yeah, but a bit of a different way to celebrate a touchdown. But nonetheless, it was a nicely worked play, nice and simple. Just the early ball out to Nah Phillips, and then along out to the wing, and Frank did a good job there.
Lucky Frank's been working on those oblique muscles, to absorb the hit of that knee as Canterbury now work their way up towards the attacking 7 metre. So we set up here in the middle. We've got Len Footy. Working here with Ryan Nisbet. Robert Logan now picks the ball up. Goes short side, draw and pass, tries to squeeze through there. I tell you what, Rod, I haven't seen the old, you lift the ball up in the air above your head, the old to make yourself nice and thin to get through. Haven't seen that for a while, so it's great to see that.
Yeah, as we see North Harbour now just starting to bring it back through the field, making their way to the box. A nice simple transition set here. Now Phillips just wrapping on around the back here, slides into link.
So Steve, you're supposed to be playing in this tournament with this crew, were you?
Yeah, I broke my collarbone about 6 weeks ago, which didn't help. I guess the mind doesn't quite work and sync with the body, so I dived and unfortunately it was all over.
I'd hate to know what wager you had on the game for you to be diving. That just sounds crazy.
Well, the guys were very sympathetic. They were just annoyed that I dropped the ball, to be honest. I didn't score the try and it was only training.
And it was only training. Excellent. Oh, the trial system down for the Canterbury 60s men's as we see Harbour. Oh, the no-looker. Right to left, no-looker, one hand. Seeing that more in basketball than on touch. Love it. As we see there, the number 14 from North Harbour, someone that I've seen on the touch field a lot. I think when I first started, he was in the Masters, so can't believe he's still looking so youthful. As we have a pick up there from Hand. Oh, I'm sure he was dummy half. Oh, and I'm sure that goes back. I don't know if there's been a rule change in this area, but back in the day, if you were the dummy half and you intentionally planted the ball over the scoreline. That was counted as a touch, so therefore that would be a dummy half touch and a turnover. As we see here, Stephen Hand organising things with Phillip, picks it up, gets through the gap. He might not have been through the gap too many times over the last 2 days, so thought he'd score. Well, at least he was trying to trick everyone. He definitely tricked the ref. And I think it was lucky there was a drop ball. I'd love to see what the referees would have called there on.
It was a nice setup, though, I must admit, and it's it is familiar with what we've seen out of the open screens, and turns to a sweep and dummying that side and heading short side again. So, they've got all the tricks, these blokes.
Steve, you talked about these two teams having played each other 4 times already, twice on Wednesday, twice yesterday. What have the results been in terms of how close have the scores been?
Yeah, first game was a bit of a disaster, 6-0 to North Harbour, 8-4 the second game, 2-1 the third game, and 4-3 or 4-2 the fourth game. So Canterbury's definitely getting better.
Yeah, definitely, as you can hear from those results. Nice gap opened up there for Chris Hand.
Yeah, ex-New Zealand player.
There seems to be a little bit longer to get up off the ground after they score these tries. I'm not sure if that's just a different type of celebration, Rod.
Yeah, it's, I guess it is hard work, but these guys, they are spotting the gaps that are available, and they're taking them. So you always got to take care of the job that's at hand first, and it's the scoring, Maya, that's important here. How long he gets up, well, he can take his time on that. I'm sure he'll head straight to the bench.
Yeah, we just saw the North Harbour player there just lurking around the back. He popped out to his right, which sort of made that shutting defender from Canterbury not take probably the person he needed to, and the gap opened up there for Chris Hand. Canterbury now on attack, 2-0 to North Harbour. First 7 odd minutes of the game already passed us by. As we see, Gordon working with Fitzgibbon. Drops it off to Skelly. Gordon again. Fitzgibbon around the back door. Skelly gets through, looks for his winger. Shouldn't be able to fly at 60.
He's 70 there.
70.
How is that from John Scully, though? The agility, just absolutely awesome. Reminds me, of his earlier days when he's running around in the opens. He's still got it.
Nui Hetutu couldn't quite keep hold of the ball there on the wing. That would have been a great try. Would have got Canterbury back in this 2-1. So we see North Harbour again working their way off the line. Just centering that attack as they work across to their sub-box to try and get some subs on. It's the third touch there. I really like the looks of this number 1, Keith O'Hanlon. I was just watching the North Harbour warm-up, Rob, just before this game, and Keith, he's obviously the leader of the team. The North Harbour, one of them anyway, definitely give them a lot of direction around their attack. Very knowledgeable player, and just the technical detail he's using in that. I was really impressed with Keith O'Hanlon.
Yeah. One thing you can guarantee, Maya, with all these groups, there's a lot of experience here. So I'm pretty sure that they'll all be chipping in here, just as we see a little bit of control.
Logan and Fleet in the middle. Fleet just giving Logan a little bit of direction. Ooh, that's a bit harsh.
I would expect so. Yes.
Unfortunately, that gust of wind popped up and just shifted Logan's shoulders a little bit to the right, so it wasn't square. North Harbour straight back onto attack, and they absolutely ran this setup, Rod. As we see them now, well over halfway for this third touch. Great set here from the North Harbour 60 men's. Chris Hand, our last try scorer. Oh, hard touch. There's that competitive nature coming back in there, Rod.
Yeah, and what I'm liking about both teams at the moment, Maya, is through the field, through that orange zone, it's very clean. There's very few errors in there. So obviously these gentlemen understand the importance of winning that zone and giving yourself an opportunity when you do get down into the green area.
North Harbour set things back up. Palace only. Hand again. They brothers, Steve, are they? Is Stephen and Chris brothers?
Steve and I played together.
Harbour again, back door from Hand. Looking for space, good defence. Didn't bite in there, the number 12 from Ray Hill. Had nice positioning, took up 2 holes, got up to make the touch. As we see Philip and Hand in the middle. Philip drops down. Hand picks it up, gives it to Hand, and he's in. Bit of the old family connection, done that a few times in the backyard, Steve.
Absolutely.
3-0, Rod, take us through this one.
Yeah, just a nice little ML play there. And there's the buses coming through, and just spying the gap, stepping short side, and taking the line is, unfortunately the defender there after he just dropped a little bit too deep behind the line there.
Steve, obviously knowing you more in your role on the board, how many touch nationals have you participated in?
Actually, not a lot. I came into touch quite late, to be honest. Probably 5 or 6 years when I came down to Canterbury.
Yep.
We've got guys in this team like Ray Hill. Scully's taken off. We've got guys like Ray Hill that played 40 years here, and we've got 2 guys in our team first year at the Nationals, which is fantastic at 60 years of age, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess not so much your playing touch, your journey to becoming the chairman of the board of Touch New Zealand. How did that happen?
I got approached by a guy called Graham Christian, who you may know from days gone by. They were looking for somebody with a finance background. I took the job on and then transitioned very quickly into the role of chairman. So it was a privilege, to be frank. Absolute privilege.
And what were some of the highlights for you as your time, as we see here, North Harbour? Just really good ruck set down through the middle.
Yeah, I guess on that one there, just really good control and isolation of the defender there. And as we can see now, the defence, they're shifting the ball from side to side. The defence collapses, and we just head short side. Very, very good setup, well planned.
As you see here, here's the man I was talking about, Keith O'Hanlon, working with Hand. Just easy outside and then almost become a 3-on-none there. Just going back to that question, Steve, in terms of what were a couple of the highlights in your time as being on the board in terms of, I guess, what you felt the organisation did as an organisation for touch in this country?
Yeah, good question, Mauri. I mean, when I took on the role of chairman, you're probably aware that Touch New Zealand was in a lot of trouble financially, and so I guess one of the things that we had to do is, and that's part of appointing Joe to the role of CEO, was to start to stabilise the business. So the first 2 or 3 years was just about stabilising the financial model and then starting to build from there. And a lot of the stuff that's happening, I'm seeing out here now, is a direct reflection of a lot of that work that was done previously. So you've got to give Joe and his team a lot of credit for what they've done. He's done a bloody good job, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Good men normally do good jobs, and Joe's definitely both a good man and done a great job. So congratulations to your team, Steve and Joe, as we see the Canterbury crew get a fresh set. 4-0, definitely want to score soon. Won't want to let this Harbour team get their tail up too much. As we see John Scully leading people around the field. I think he said, please go over there. And Nesbitt drops down. Scully's got the ball through the gap. Oh, here we go, the runaway, the 60s men's runaway, loving it.
Mike Savage on the chase down.
Easy, had him all day, Mikey. Harbour work it off the line.
He's a terrible snorer, apparently, Mikey.
I can't imagine any of these men out here snore, Steve.
Well, Robbie Logan's had to swap rooms as a result.
I don't think Mikey got home early enough to sleep.
Well, he certainly goes early. He leaves about 4:30 every morning, so I'm not sure where he's going.
Canterbury, another set. Ooh, yes. The unfortunate thing I've seen with a couple of these incidents is they appear to be very, very obvious, a lot more than they generally do in terms of the off the mark.
You've got to give it to North Harbour. Defensively, there's always one person pushing up really, really hard and just applying that pressure, which I guess is serving them quite well at the moment. And the organisation is really good. I think there was probably 8 on the field there at that time by North Harbour. They got away with that one.
You've made a good point there, Rod, because the Canterbury boys, we've had to bring 4 or 5 guys from Wellington into the team to make up the numbers. This North Harbour team's played together for years, so you've got to expect that they'll have better combinations.
Just looking at this game, Rod, we've made a comment a couple of times, and even in some of the open games that we've had live streamed, the amount of tape on players, there's less tape here on this field today with these 60s men's than we have seen in some of the open games. So a big shout out, a big mihi to these men and the nick they've kept themselves in, and I wish I could be running in my 40s, let alone at my 60s, so great to see them out here.
Just a heads up, guys, the winner of this grade, we've got a cup called the Zimmer Frame Cup, which is going to be made available to the winner of the 60s grade. So
I wonder if they'll be able to walk up on stage to get it.
You haven't seen all the Zimmer frames packed on the sideline, have you?
As you can just see in the background, whānau, it's a big day here, day 3. It's the second day of our Opens competition, where they are jostling for positions to get to the right ranking where they can be part of the semi-finals and playoffs tomorrow. And then we've also got our other Masters grades, some playing in the semi-final for other finals later on today, and some playing in their last game in the playoffs. As we see here, Canterbury number 7, Stephen Burnside nearly get through, showed a good bit of toe there, Rod.
Yeah, I'd like, it'd be good to see Canterbury just maybe move the ball across to this left side a little bit and open up for Julian Berryman. I mean, he's got some toe, and as I said it, there is the man, like plenty of experience and a lot of speed.
Oh, forward pass, unfortunate there again. Stephen Burnside showed a heap of toe and passed it off to your man, Julian Berryman. As we see here, Steve sets him up, gives him the goosey. Nice short ball. Must have been great work from the sideline referees to see that one. That looked flat to me, but forward pass, and North Harbour straight back on attack, and look at them already up to the other team's 10-metre line.
That number 10 for North Harbour is Sandy Hackett from Touch New Zealand's husband, Mauri.
There we go. My heart goes out to him even more now knowing that. I can see why he's still playing touch. Oh, hand, unfortunately. Ball didn't go to hand from hand. Good set of D from the Canterbury boys. 3.5 minutes to go, Rod.
Yeah, the good part, I guess, at this stage for Canterbury is they've put a lot of stoppers in down this end now, so they're starting to stem the flow a little bit in terms of North Harbour, and those are the little wins that you can take as you move through the game. Oof. I think you might have felt that one. Allowed to play on.
I'm sure they'll be...
Scully back on the ball again, and there's that agility.
Ooh. I don't even think David Ogilvie even seen the pass coming, but peripheral vision. 2020 still at this ripe age of 60. Good, but much better set there, Rod, from the Canterbury crew.
Oh, absolutely. There's certainly been a change in the second quarter for Canterbury, and hopefully they can get down the other end. I think if they can score a touchdown, it'll just raise morale a little bit and put them in good stead for the second half.
Yep, definitely want to, as we see, Hand and O'Hara.
Nice cover there, nice cover.
Oh, ref, I wasn't playing at that. Look at me, how could I possibly have been... Yeah, how the ref believed him too.
It's all about the sail, right? It's all about the sail.
Oh, he was trying to slow himself down and opening up the sail to catch the wind in his hand, and unfortunately the ball was thrown into it. As we see, North Harbour, must have been a turnover from our Canterbury crew. Number 6, Doug Alcock. Hand picks the ball up, gets on the outside, and there's our man. Keith O'Hanlon makes it look easy.
Yeah, nice little cut there, and just with the cut, he held his space, for a good long time, allowed the latch to really bite in on that, and therefore you can just draw straight into the space that's available.
Guys, just some feedback you might be interested in. The guy that set that try up there, Steve Hand, he was in hospital a year and a half ago with a heart attack, nearly died. He's come back and he's now playing touch at this level. That's outstanding, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
outstanding. Yeah.
How, Steve, you obviously have first-hand knowledge of how the Canterbury 60s men's feel about this all, but how were they about playing one team 5, potentially 6 times over the course of this tournament?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be that, as you know. So I guess what we tried to do is, it was about the grade for us, both teams, and so we just worked collaboratively together and said, well, how can we make this as best we can for an experience on the basis that the grade is important. Do we score then?
No, not quite, but Doug Alcock gave the look like, surely, ref, did you not just see that athleticism? That's at least worth 2 points, I thought, Rod.
Well, it was a fair cop to question it too. I thought he did a good effort there. He went really close on that one.
6 touch there. Pretty solid defence as we see this one. In all seriousness, actually, this was great athleticism, as you see. Nice and low to the ground at full stretch. Must have been a really good touch.
He has got an advantage though.
You mean the aerodynamic? Just had a glitch there.
That's a bit better from Canterbury now as they're starting to lift it to prevent North Harbour coming through the field.
As we nearly about head towards our halftime siren. It's actually looked a lot more even than the score suggests, but North Harbour just been a little bit more clinical and accurate when they've needed to be, and they've got themselves out to a 5-0 lead as we just go into our halftime break. So Canterbury a lot to talk about at halftime, and I'm sure they'll be out firing. Halftime, Harbour 5, Canterbury 0.
Well done, team. Keep it going. Here we go. Well done, team. Keep it going. Here we go. Good work. Yes, good side step. Excellent. Working forward. Well done. Well done, team. Good. For Bunnings Homegrown Heroes, but Mahi never stops. Thanks, mate. Okay, team, come on in. Let's go. Let's huddle up. Bring it in, guys. Nominate your homegrown hero today. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Sport. What does it mean to us? For some, it's potential, a promise that we could be better, that the early mornings will be worth it, that we could be champions.
Starts with touch. Kia ora team, George here from Touch NZ. Now we all enjoy a bit of touch, but without a proper warm-up, the chances of being injured are massively increased. So to keep you on the field and out of the emergency room, Touch NZ have made a short and easy warm-up series for all levels, proven to lower the chance of injury by close to 50%. So head on over to our site and check them out. Play safe, play smart.
Kia ora te iwi and welcome back to the second half of our first live stream game between the Canterbury 60 men's and the North Harbour 60 men's. As we talked about earlier before the game started, it's sort of a final, but it's sort of not a final, lads. Just at that halftime break, I popped out of the commentary tent and just sat in behind the North Harbour box just to hear what it was like. And we've talked that the game might not be quite as fast and the agility might not be there, but the competitiveness is up there, like as if it's their first game. I was listening to number 4 Chris Hand from the North Harbour team. Got the boys together, they stood there, and as we see a lot of our professional teams, they took in the 3 deep breaths. As we see Keith nearly go over for our first try, and then he said, that's the first half, we wipe it, it's 0-0. It was just great to hear the comms, the focus from all the lads. There was no joking in the halftime box, so I can really see why North Harbour got out to a 5-0 lead, just very sharp, very focused, and Keith unfortunately couldn't catch that. So Canterbury box, what would they have talked about, Rod?
Oh, I think for them, as we said earlier, I think they got the better of the second quarter there, and that's something for them to build on. They managed to stem that flow. North Harbour here, just looking at their initial foray, I think they'll start to move with a lot more latching and cutting. And just try and catch that collapsing defence a little bit.
Steve, you are normally in the Canterbury 60 men's box. What would the lads have been feeling? What would they have been thinking?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they would have been disappointed with their first half, particularly not executing. There was 2 or 3 opportunities they probably could have executed, and that might have made a big difference. It's going to be a tough uphill struggle, but they've got a lot of tenacity, a lot of energy, these guys, and so, as I say that, they get scored against by Huggy.
Ben Bartlett goes over for the first.
No, that's Huggy. It's Steve Huggy. Yep, Steve Huggins. He must have Ben Bartlett's shirt.
Steve, you need to give Ben's shirt back. You're making it tough for me here in the box, mate.
might be a good protest we can have on that one. Because I know Ben Bartlett's not as tall as Huggy.
Yeah, so you just talked about just the execution. They did have some opportunities here in the first half and didn't quite execute, unfortunately. Didn't quite execute on defence here too. North Harbour straight back to where they left off in that first half, and as Chris Hand said at half-time, it's 0-0. So to them it's 1-0 in the second half, as we see number 14 from Canterbury.
See, they lost momentum there. Number 3 really was supposed to hit on that last one.
Fresh set here, so now they can get themselves together. I'm not sure if North Harbour are a shorter defender out there, but there's a lot of space out there.
It's a bit of an odd thing to do with a full set in hand, but I guess he saw a lot of land and thought it was the time to operate.
Yep.
But it would have been nice to see them take a couple of little short plays in there before going wide.
North Harbour set the honey trap, and unfortunately Canterbury couldn't quite take the opportunity, as Harbour again just methodically worked their way up through the field. Keith O'Hanlon picks off the dump. No real space there. Pretty good D there from Canterbury. Man on D. Here they get their next opportunity. Who'll be the leaders in this Canterbury team, Steve, that will really try and get the boys back into the game?
Yeah, Billy Fitzgibbon's the captain. I mean, he's an outstanding player and very solid. And I guess the two strike players are Robbie Logan and John Scully. And I haven't seen them doing enough, to be honest. Here's John now.
There he is, leading him around again. John Scully picks up, looks for space, turns on the gas. Ooh, just a little bit tight probably there, the link from Canterbury. Could have stayed a little bit wide out in that channel.
Yeah, John, trying to be creative there, which is his role. Pick, and he's very good at that picking role. As we see North Harbour coming back through the field, nice tidy transition. Guess we see Chris Hand back to ball shortly.
Here he is.
2 hand boys. Just didn't roll outside that metre. Well judged. Chris Hand here now just setting things up. Goes to work over with his brother Stephen. The old cut to the cut. Back to the third cut. And do we get a fourth cut? Is that a Canterbury move as well, is it, Steve? Or is it just strictly North Harbour?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm actually not sure.
There he is, Mike Savage, strong yard up the sideline. Ooh. Vanessa, what does just said, come on lads, act your age, go back and play the ball. I wouldn't be messing with Vanessa, I tell you. The nicest lady you'll meet, but I wouldn't get on the wrong side. What do we have here? Nope.
Isn't it great for the referees, Maya, to see some, like Vanessa's young fella, Logan, for example, coming through the things. I was talking to Simon Buttery the other day, and the young fella that's now he's 6'5", and he's a grown-up kid. I mean, he refereed us at Masters Games years ago in Dunedin. He was 7 years old at the time. Isn't it great to see these kids keep coming through?
Yeah, totally. There's actually more than I've ever seen of either the referee coaches or other referees having their own children here, and it makes sense that they follow through. And I guess particularly for the men, if they want to go and referee at some tournaments, they need to take the kids.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, I referee twice a week out at Southbrook, and Mitchell Bailey, Mitchell Bailey at all? He's a young guy out there. He's got about 10 or 15 young kids, sort of 17, 18, that are coming through the refereeing ranks, and they're all great kids, and I love refereeing with them. They're just good kids to referee with, and very technically sound.
Yep.
Oh, I can talk a lot of rubbish, but the reality is I don't know the rules as well as they do. But, so they know the rules, but they technically just need to work a bit harder in terms of the comms and all that, I guess, more than anything else.
Yep, 23 years of refereeing, never read the rule book, so that's 2 of us, Steve.
Yep.
As we see Canterbury here again, back on tack, gets a halfway. This is a little bit better. A little bit more speed and direction in the yards. Nice Fitzgibbon. Just slowed it up, unfortunately. Skelly's back on. Definitely being the key ball player for the Canterbury team. Here he goes. He sees the gap. Keith had him.
Yeah, no, he's looking for Billy outside.
Yeah, I thought the opportunity for John was on the short side there. It certainly opened up a little bit. But obviously they had pre-planned that into the open. Harbour keeping their weight, staying nice and tight to the sideline for the first couple.
Steve, in terms of Palmerston North as a venue for the Touch Nationals, you like it?
Yeah, I love it. Last time I was down here, I think I was chairman of Touch at the time, and it was underwater. In fact, little Lenny Fleet in our team, he dived for a try in the corner at one stage, and apparently he didn't come up, so they had to go and get him.
I'm not sure if that was a short joke or not, but...
No, that wasn't. It's a true story.
Yep, I was down here that last time too, and definitely appreciated the extra day off. Canterbury, good set of D. 6-0. 12 minutes left in the second half of the first live stream game here on day 3 of the 2023 Bunnings Warehouse Touch National Championship in the beautiful Omni Park in Palmerston North. We're supposedly supposed to get a little bit of drizzle around 12:30, Rod. Looking out there now, it's actually a perfect day to play touch. The sun's in behind the clouds. It's not too bad a temperature.
Yeah, no, Palmerston North is, it's done its thing. So, it's a nice moderate climate for the players. So there's certainly no excuses for them, and everyone's enjoying it. There's a lot of families out. The game always brings along with it the whānau, and anyone from Palmy who were watching at the time, get on down here.
I've had the opportunity to be involved in a few different sports over my short life. But when you use the word whānau, that's what this whole sport is about. Like, as you said earlier, Steve, these two teams, they probably hang out with each other more than they hang out with players in their team, just because they're so often together. We see each other as a nice little backdoor cut to the right-hand back flip off to Steve Hand. There's Harbour go in for their 8th try.
Yeah, I've been involved in administration, obviously at Touch New Zealand, but also with counties. I was president there for a while, and also with Canterbury as well. And you're right, that family sort of thing is just so important. It really is. And you come to these tournaments and you walk 5 minutes and you've talked to 20 people. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I'm enjoying all the kisses, particularly from the woman.
I don't know. Rod's a pretty good kisser, I've heard.
That's no rumour, Maya. That's certainly no rumour. But as there's grandparents here, they've got their grandkids in tow with them, and everybody's supporting and enjoying themselves here.
Absolutely. There's grandmothers here playing, and then they go and watch their son play, and then they have a grandchild here playing. And I was talking to someone who was in that situation, and you just don't see that in any other sport. The sport just offers so much. The people are the reason the sport is incredible, but the structures, the systems, the game is a beautiful game. It's just awesome.
Well, John Scully and Robbie Logan, for example, their grandkids are down here playing opens.
Yeah, excellent. You see here, Graham Watts, nice drive. Chris Hand. Did he get through? No. It's because he didn't put the ball above his head, right? You see if he put his ball above the head.
You're never too old to learn, Mike. Never too old to learn.
No, I'm glad I know that now.
The advantage of being married to a younger woman.
As we see Canterbury get the ball back. They'll be heading across to their sub-box.
Come on, Ray.
Oh, just not square. Been very consistent with the not square call in this game. Probably, I don't know, in terms of the spectacle, could have let a few of those go. That's not really the whole purpose, I guess, of the rule. When you're coming in at 1,000 miles an hour and you don't plant it square, I can see us making sure that we get that one. But in terms of when things are pretty static and the shoulders are just a little bit to the left or right, probably could play away from that, Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just in the spirit of the game and the way these guys are playing, they're certainly putting the effort in. I love it the way these guys go through, and there's always a quizzical look. Did you? Did you really?
Oh, you've been looking at my face. They just stroll through, and you don't know if they haven't been able to get the parachute out and slow down, or whether they've actually gone through and scored. As Chris Hand comes off the peel here. Nice defence here from the Canterbury team. Nā Te Korona in the middle with Chris Hand. The brothers are together again. 2 hands together. Chris goes short side, looks back, and there he is. He can do a lot of good things with that right arm. The sky hook and reaching out. Pale. As we see the replay, simple plant. Fakes going to the left, gets out to the right. Late cut is the number 2 Canterbury. It was latched by Chris Hand, and then a big space.
Yeah, I think North Harbour found a bit of success with that, late in that second quarter, and they've certainly gone back to that play, the old latch and late, and it's paying dividends for them.
I really hope Canterbury can get across the line. Obviously, it's unlikely there's going to be another game, Steve, after this one, with Harbour having been the victors in all of them, but I'd really like the effort that they've shown so far to be rewarded by getting across that line, and these two are the two to do it, as we've got Skelly on the ball with Doug Alcock. We've seen his good dive before he steps off his right, comes back to the left, late cut. Skelly gets not quite on the outside.
Nice.
Beautiful drawn pass, but equal to that was the defence by the winger, number 13 from North Harbour, Willie Iraya. Look at this, late cut, gets on the outside, beautifully puts it out. Was thinking he was going to dive, in 2 minds whether he should dive or pass, but great defence from the North Harbour winger as they now work their way up to halfway. Good to see the Canterbury boys haven't taken their foot off the pedal. It's not like the game's over in their mind. They're still that competitive nature, Rod, that they want to get across there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was good to see them create there. I thought they were going to do their own sort of latch and late for a bit there, and they'll probably get some mileage out of that.
Alcock back on the ball, high work rate.
Mikey Savage putting the step on.
He's running so fast, his hat slid backwards and now it's facing the wrong way. Just setting things up here. Robert Logan and Berryman, unfortunately, just strong touch, one of those competitive touches you talk about, Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess just in those situations, obviously that one there was quite straightforward, but when the ball does get planted and the dummy does miss it, it always feels like it's a bit 50-50 in terms of whether that gets called a turnover or not.
Yeah, technically it shouldn't get called a turnover. As you know, nothing's wrong. It hasn't gone outside a metre, hasn't been fumbled. The dummy half has just run past it. So unlucky there for Canterbury as Keith O'Hanlon just simply comes off. I didn't even know if there was a little peel or just ran a tight line to his 3 and then faked him to give the wraparound as took us through this one, Rod.
Yeah, no, it's just a strong drive to start with. They got the sweep through, and he just took the option. Berryman just held off just a little bit too long there, so a nice sweep. He played back into the hole, and then saw the gap, and Berryman just held off just a little bit too long.
Pretty commanding now, Steve. 9-0.
Yes, it is. It's I'm a bit disappointed from the team's perspective in that I think what we haven't done well is we haven't worked hard on those first 3 defensive touches, so keep them up at the other end, but we've allowed them to get down into the danger zone, and then they're deadly, these guys, when guys like Keith and Chris Hand and that, they're very deadly at that level. Yeah,
very accurate physically, but just at that half time, just seeing the focus, literally the layers of focus, and only one person was talking, and that was Chris. They were just ready to roll. To them, it's not the case of this is the 5th game they've played, let's win it. As we see a little bit of a mix-up in the ruck.
Oh, pull up. Bit of a hamstring there.
I'll tell you how well prepared Keith Irish is, for example. In Australia, we were over there, and when we won the toss, he decided which way the wind was going and all sorts of things, and he had a big say in terms of whether we played with the wind or that. So he's very well prepared as a sort of a coach.
Yeah, we just unfortunately see there David Ogilvie just pulling up. That looks like a genuine one. I know when I played rugby I used to do that when there was someone much bigger than me. Pull the hammy. But hopefully not too bad from David. I hate to see on the last game of the tournament for them that he's going to go home with an injury. Hope it's just a little bit of cramp, a bit of a rub. And he'll be right. Canterbury 10-0 Harbour, 3.5 to go. Dominant, professional, classy outfit, North Harbour.
Let's see what John Scully can conjure up here. Just moving his troops around, trying to shift the defence to where they need to be and pulling them out. Quickie short side. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, unlucky, but it was the right play. Quickie him step back to short side.
John knows it was a touch, but he wasn't going to help the referee out there. He was making sure the referee had to make that decision. Replay here. John step left, right, left, goes under. And once
not bad for a 64-year-old, is it, guys, to be able to step like that?
He's done a lot of work in the second half in particular, John Scully. You can see him sucking in the big ones. Harbour again, just methodically working their way up. And the MVP of moustaches, number 9, Merv Beattie.
And the brothers are back in control again. What are we picking? Meyer, Latchin late again.
Every time I pick something, I'm always wrong. So there we go. Gets through, easy as can be. Might have been a push or a hold there, I'm thinking, hearing the whistle. Penalty there. It's our referee, Te Aroha.
I thought Move Beasy did a nice job of pushing himself, but he hit it very well.
There he has it. Not sure what that sign was. But one of the North Harbour players just in the sub box there, pretty happy with his team's performance over the last 3 days. Hand. Oh, there's that right arm again. The referee takes 2 steps back and says, touchdown. 11-0. Just winding our way towards the end of the end of this game. Minute 30 to go, as we can see here. Hand off to Paulette. Look, fakes outside, goes back in, and we see the big right arm stretch out to get over for a second. Mikey loves it more than he does.
You can see the camaraderie between the groups, though. Steve, they obviously they've been together for a long time now.
I think I said to you guys before, half of this North Harbour side and half this Canterbury side went to Australia for the Pan Pacifics, played 60s. We ended up coming second to a top Australian team, which wasn't bad really, so we know each other well.
They might have beat you on the touch field, but I'm sure you guys beat them on the dance floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you've seen the dance moves of Mikey Savage, he's pointing at, he must have heard me, he's pointing to me saying, you've seen it. That was only the 2-step. Wait till he brings out the 3-step. That's Canterbury.
We're all having dinner tonight together as well as 2 teams. That'll be interesting. So everybody normally protects their plate when Steve hands around because he does like to go and collect all of the leftovers.
He likes to graze, does he? He likes to graze.
Yes, he does.
Won't throw stones in that glass house as we just come up towards the last 20 seconds.
I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to get past you, Maya.
Crawl under the table, I think. Ooh, it's ironic that it's taken 39 minutes and 45 seconds for Harbour to really make a mistake off the transition. There's the hooter for full time of our first of the live stream games. We see Canterbury still attacking right to the end. Fortunately not ball to hand, but that starts us off on day 3 of our 2023 Bunnings Warehouse Nationals. A convincing and very, very professional performance from the North Harbour 60s men's, winning 11-0 over Canterbury.
This Touch New Zealand event is proudly supported by Bunnings Warehouse.